That's why women cry easier?
That's why we cry easier, because men are designed to sort of like see movement and to hunt and to, right? You're not designed to sort of read like, oh, is she frustrated or angry? You know, like, have you ever been on a double date with your wife and like, you think that her and the other, I can't imagine you on a double date. That was so weird thinking about it.
I've done those things.
Really? In the very early stages?
No, I've done them recently.
But have you ever
they
like,
get annoying.
Yeah, and you go on a double date and like you have to fucking talk to the guy and he's asking you a million questions about hunting and you're like, just listen to my podcast. Why do I have to fucking do this for free? And then your wife is talking to the other girl and you think it's going well and the girl gets the car and you're like, oh, that went well. And you're like, she was such a bitch. I couldn't fucking stand her. And you're like, it seemed like you guys got along great. You know, like, has that ever happened to you?
My wife's not like that.
Okay.
She's pretty
She's just
transparent.
like, has had it.
Yeah. She just talks. I mean, she's not like, if she thought something was bad, she would let everybody know.
Like right away.
Well, she would just, it would be obvious.
Or just sort of like sometimes there's like, basically, and we talk about it in the movie, is just men are not as good at reading emotions on faces. So it's like, if you were to say like, Whitney, how are you? And I was like, I'm fine. You might just be like, okay, she's fine. Let's move on. A lot of guys can't understand that there's a discrepancy between what I'm saying and how I'm saying it. And it's like about just reading like how muscles move on human faces. So it's like you can look up sort of the difference. And, you know, so I'm not defending men in that area. I think that an interesting conversation that might come up at some point is people who have autism are really going to be fucked in all of this.
Ooh.
People who can't pick up on social cues because so much of this is nonverbal.
Yeah.
I fear that we're going to get to a place where we're going to have to like sign contracts and shit before we have sex and stuff because, you know, I know that in my 20s, and I'm freezing up just talking about it, is that when men made physical advances to me, I would be giving off these nonverbal cues. And I wasn't saying no, but my body was saying no. And I'm not saying it's necessarily a guy is supposed to like be able to read my body language, but that's what was happening because I froze up because of my trauma response. Right. And I was scared. And also we are conditioned to be submissive to men. I am conditioned to feel shame if I don't fuck a guy in a certain amount of time.
What?
I spent
Wait a minute.
Totally.
I thought it was the opposite. I thought you would feel shame if you fucked a guy too quickly.
If you fuck a guy on the first date, you feel shame. But if there's this sort of like unspoken rule that you like kind of have to fuck a guy on the third date.
What?
Yeah. Oh, totally. Do you not think that?
Jamie's never heard of this either.
Oh, yeah. I feel like guilt and shame and I'm difficult and I'm a prude and I'm like, whatever.
This might just be you.
Yeah, this might just be me. But like every girl that I know maybe it's just my generation or something.
Every guy out there is like, all I gotta do is just get 3 dates in and we're in.
But think about negotiate. So just the tip is like something we joke about, right? Mm-hmm. But it is based in the idea of negotiating for sex. So if someone is starting to say just the tip, that means I've already said no. And you're like, well, come on, how about just a blowjob? And then I'm like, no, just come on, just the tip. It's like we joke about it, but that means that a negotiation is going on and then I've already said no. And then you just get worn down. And that's like transactional sex, which I think women are kind of just, I won't generalize about all women, but I think some women are like sort of like, I don't want to have that kind of transactional sex anymore. And like I feel like I'm being used as a blow up doll. And I think from what I understand that girl felt is she felt like she was like rushed through dinner and like went back and was just sort of expected to be fucked. And I think a lot of what's happening is that men were promised something from porn and women were promised something from romantic comedies. Men were promised that women like want it all the time, and women have been promised that men like want to talk to us. And I think these expectations are clashing. So I think it's a little bit of nature and a little bit of nurture.
So a lot of it being media misrepresentations of actual relationships, and that's the models that people are acting on.
Maybe. Yeah, I think it's different for every person because every person has a different experience with sex. Everyone has a different ability to read faces. Everyone has a different nature and nurture. Everyone had different fucking parenting.
And then there's a problem with like sometimes you really shouldn't be with that person and you're there.
Yeah.
And you're there. And what do you do?
What do you do? I mean,
what do you do?
I've literally had sex before just to like get out of there. You're just like, oh God, I don't want to argue with this person right now, but I feel like this person feels entitled to my body and I feel shame and I'm embarrassed. And like, it's just all this stuff that's really kind of hard to explain. And I think it probably is annoying to the guy. And I just like, I don't want to be difficult. And I've been so gaslit to believe that I'm difficult. It just gets like really messy. And then by the time you figure it out, you've already had sex and you're just like, oh fuck, can I have my parking pass back?
Isn't this part of just being a human and trying to navigate your way through the fucking treacherous waters of just social interactions, sexual interactions?
I didn't figure it out until I was 32 years old. I wasn't able to like articulate or figure out whether I actually wanted to be having sex or not. So like my advice to all my guy friends is do not have sex with girls that are under 30 because like I didn't have the ability to even know or say what I wanted until I was
But for men, a lot of men feel like if you have sex with a girl who's under 30, then it's fun. And you can have fun. But if you have sex with a girl who's over 30, their biological clock is ticking.
Maybe. I froze my eggs. I've got time. My shit's on ice.
Pressuring you into this, relationship very quickly. What's your intentions? Where is this going? I want to know how we stand. What are we?
Block that bitch. Block her. Find another one. There's Tinder. You can find plenty of women in their 30s.
What if you like her? You just want her to calm down. You just like, well, let's work this out.
I mean, look, we're gonna have to start talking to each other, I guess, and setting expectations. I know that sounds like a nightmare, doesn't it?
So much drama. LBC.
But it's also it's so funny. This is totally I probably shouldn't say this, but I was thinking someone was like, yeah, and then they had dinner, and afterwards they whatever, and she wasn't into it. I was like, that is already fishy. I never want to have sex after dinner. I think it's disgusting. I'm full of lasagna. I don't want anything in my body after I've eaten. I need a couple. I like to have sex before I eat.
Someone's going down and you have to fart.
I'm can we? If I'm just assume that any sex after dinner is non-consensual.
But it's super normal.
Yeah.
Right? Sex after dinner. You're grossed out by it.
If I just eat chicken parmesan, I don't want your, I don't, it's disgusting to me.
I get it. Mm-hmm.
So I just know that I've had a lot of sex in my 20s that I didn't want to be having, that felt transactional, that just didn't feel, I think that, who really wins in all this? Prostitutes. And sex robots.
I think if prostitution was legal. See, the problem even with prostitution being legal is it's still shameful. And it's still looked down upon. Whereas massage therapy is not.
But you get to keep your job.
You get to keep what job?
You get to keep your job.
The man, is that
no, I mean if you're afraid of sexually assaulting someone by accident or having an interpersonal relationship at work and all the stuff that's going on, just having sex with a hooker, you're not going to get fired. They're not going to report you.
Yes, but it's very problematic in that it establishes this dynamic between a man and a woman where it's very transactional.
Yeah.
And and then if you get accustomed to transactional sex,
it could make it worse when you're actually with.
It's then your thought is just, I just got to pay for it.
Yeah.
Why would I deal with your bullshit? I'll just be a grown-up baby paying to get my dick sucked all the time.
I just mean if men need, because I literally was thinking about the other day, I was I would like someone to invent a virtual reality game so that women can understand what sex feels like for me. It must be so amazing. I was thinking about it.
Why do you think it's more amazing for a guy than it is for a woman?
Just because I'm to be willing to throw away your career and take that big of a risk.
No, that's not what it is. No, it's this is the way I described it in one of my specials. I said being a man is like having a small 24-hour sperm factory with a very shitty agreement with the union. You got one delivery truck, that's your dick.
Yep.
And you got one warehouse, and packages are piling up every day, and your dick is hey, so we gotta get these fucking packages out of here. What are we gonna do? And the more it stacks up, the more desperate you get, the more you're willing to negotiate.
Yeah.
The more you do stupid things. The nature of being a human being is men are trying to get rid of cum because we're making it all day long. All day long, we're making cum. We're cum factories. That's what we are. And when a man doesn't have sex for a few days, you don't I went through. I did an experiment on my website many years back where I didn't jerk off for a month.
What happened?
It's holy shit. You get
walls.
So desperate.
Yeah.
Just touching people, just getting a hug, your dick gets hard. He's this is bizarre. Because most of the time, guys handle it by just jerking off. You just it's a relief. You literally are backed up. You have pressure and you relieve it. I don't know what it's like to be a woman, but one thing I do know is you're not making a thing that you have to get rid of.
Correct.
We have the difference between a guy being horny on day 1 of no jerking off versus day 30, you're a totally different human being.
Wow.
You're desperate. And men who don't ever get touched and don't ever get to have sex are extremely desperate. And they will do almost anything. They will negotiate in very bizarre ways in order to be involved in relationships. That's why you see men that are, quote, pussy whipped. Why are they pussy whipped? What is that? Well, that's the only option they have.
Sure.
These are weak people. And the only option they have is to acquiesce to whatever desires and needs the woman has.
Right.
You have to submit. You have to submit, and then she'll throw some pussy at you like a dog. Throws some fucking scraps your way. That's literally what happens.
I just thought of Airborne pussy.
Yeah,
it's upsetting. But here's what. But my question. But